I brushed away the loose dirt and froze. A small black device, its red light blinking steadily, was half buried in the ground, a thin wire snaking deeper into the soil. A bomb. The police later confirmed it, and the men who planted it weren't from the HOA. Why target me? What unfolded next unraveled a chilling conspiracy, but let's start from the beginning. It all began when I moved into my new home in a serene suburban neighborhood. The place was idyllic, crisp white fences, manicured lawns, and neighbors who greeted you with warm smiles. It felt like the American dream, a haven of order and calm. After escaping a toxic relationship and a soul-crushing job, I craved stability, and this neighborhood seemed like the perfect fresh start. I could finally breathe. I spent the first week settling in, unpacking boxes, and exploring the area. My German Shepherd, Max, adored the backyard, lounging in the sun or chasing the occasional squirrel. Max was special. He'd been trained as a bomb-sniffing dog before I adopted him. So when he started barking frantically at the front door one morning, I knew something was wrong. He wasn't the type to bark without cause. Peering through the peephole, I saw two men in dark blue uniforms, HOA embroidered in white on their chests. They stood with an air of authority, hands on belts, shoulders squared. The taller one, with cropped blonde hair and piercing gray eyes, knocked again. His partner, shorter and broader, with dark hair and a calculating stare, scanned the house like a hunter. I opened the door cautiously. "Ma'am," the blonde man said, flashing a badge. "I'm Officer Daniels, and this is Officer Grant. We're with the Homeowners Association. We need to discuss complaints about your property." "Complaints?" I frowned. "I just moved in." Daniels gave a tight smile. "Reports about your lawn. It's not up to HOA standards." I glanced at my pristine front yard. Mowed, neat, flawless. "That doesn't make sense." Grant smirked, a chilling glint in his eyes. "We just need to inspect. Won't take long." Reluctantly, I let them in. Max growled, positioning himself between me and the men, his teeth bared. "Nice dog," Daniels said, his gaze lingering on Max too long. "He's protective," I replied, uneasy. They moved through the house with eerie precision, inspecting floorboards, windows, even asking strange questions. How long had I lived here? Did I have security cameras? Was I alone? In the backyard, Daniels pointed at the fence. "This is an inch too high." "An inch?" I scoffed. "HOA rules," Grant said, his eyes flicking to Daniels. "And that patch of grass by the shed, it's uneven." I stared at the spot. It looked perfect. "It's fine." "It's a violation," Daniels said coldly. He handed me a violation notice. No letterhead, no logo, just vague infractions and a $500 fine. My gut screamed something was off. "Can I see the official HOA guidelines?" I asked. Daniel's smile didn't waver. "We'll bring them tomorrow." They left abruptly, climbing into a black SUV with tinted windows. Max barked as they drove off, and a chill settled over me. Their predatory stares, the way they'd cased my house, it wasn't right. I called the local HOA office. "Hi, this is Emily from Oak Grove. Two officers from the HOA came by about violations." The woman's voice sharpened. "What violations?" "Uneven lawn, high fence." "We don't do in-home inspections," she said. "And we don't have anyone named Daniels or Grant." My blood ran cold. "You're sure?" "Positive." I hung up, hands trembling. Max growled at the window where the SUV had vanished. Whoever those men were, they weren't HOA. 2 days later, I was still on edge. I'd installed new deadbolts and checked every lock obsessively. Max was restless, pacing by the front door, growling at shadows. Around midnight, he went berserk, barking and clawing at the back door. Heart pounding, I flipped on the floodlights. A patch of dirt by the shed was disturbed, freshly turned. Grabbing a flashlight, I whispered, "Stay close, Max." He stalked toward the spot, growling. I brushed away the dirt and saw it. A black device, red light blinking, wire buried in the ground. A bomb. My legs froze, but Max's snarl snapped me back. I backed away and dialed 911. "I think I found a bomb in my yard," I stammered. "Did you say a bomb?" the dispatcher asked. "Yes. It's got a blinking light and wires." "Stay calm. Do not touch it. The bomb squad's on the way." Minutes later, sirens blared. The bomb squad swarmed my yard, disarming the device with chilling efficiency. A detective approached, late 40s, graying hair, sharp eyes. "I'm Detective Carter. You the homeowner?" "Yes," I said, voice shaking. "What was it?" "A live explosive," Carter said grimly. "Military grade. Whoever planted it meant business." I gripped the doorframe. "Oh my God. Any enemies?" Carter asked. "No. But 2 men came by, claiming to be HOA. The HOA said they don't exist." Carter's eyes narrowed. I described Daniels and Grant. Their uniforms, the fake violation notice, their invasive questions. "They were casing the house," Carter said darkly. "You were targeted." "Why?" I whispered. "We don't know yet. But that bomb was on a pressure trigger. If you'd stepped on it." He didn't finish. I spent the next few days digging for answers. The HOA confirmed the violation notice was fake. My security footage showed the black SUV circling my house days before the visit. At 3 a.m., the night the bomb was planted, Daniels and Grant were caught on camera burying it. My neighbor, Linda, revealed they'd visited her too, claiming her fence was too high. After she refused to comply, her tires were slashed, and someone tried breaking in. "This isn't about fences," Linda whispered. "Your house. Before you, a guy named Robert Kane lived there. He left suddenly 6 months ago. I saw government types visiting him before he vanished." My pulse quickened. Was this about Kane? I left Carter a voicemail with the footage and Linda's story. But waiting wasn't enough. I set a trap, an envelope labeled HOA payment $500 on my porch, cameras angled to catch everything. The next morning, the SUV returned. Daniels and Grant stepped out, spotting the envelope. "Smart choice," Daniels sneered, picking it up. I stepped onto the porch. "You're not HOA." Daniels' smile vanished. "Careful," Grant warned. "You planted a bomb," I said. Daniels pulled a gun, aiming at my chest. "You're making this harder than it needs to be." Before I could react, Max lunged, sinking his teeth into Daniels' arm. The gun fired, the bullet grazing my arm. Daniels screamed as Max dragged him down. Grant pulled a knife, but I held up my phone. "Cops are coming." Sirens wailed. Police cars screeched in, blocking the SUV. Officers swarmed, arresting Daniels and Grant. Carter arrived, inspecting the SUV. "More explosives, fake IDs, surveillance gear," he said. "This is bigger than we thought." Daniels smirked as they dragged him away. "You have no idea who you're dealing with." A week later, Carter visited. We cracked their USB drive. Military contracts, surveillance reports, a folder called Project Genesis. Coordinates point to your house. "My house," I gasped. "Kane took out a permit for a sub-basement before he disappeared. We think he hid something there." That night, Max fixated on a corner of the living room. I found a hidden panel under the rug, revealing a hatch. A ladder led to a concrete room with a locked case. Inside were classified Department of Defense documents, maps, operations, a device with a blinking red light, and a note. "If you found this, it's too late." RK. Carter secured the case. "This is what they wanted. Kane was working on something classified. You were a liability. Will they come back?" I asked. "Not these guys," Carter said. "But their employers? We'll keep watch." I sealed the hatch, Max by my side. The case was gone, the men arrested, but the threat lingered. I wasn't helpless anymore. If they returned, I'd be ready. What do you think? Was Emily reckless to confront the men, or was her trap justified? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's debate how far you'd go to protect your home. Hit that like button and subscribe for more gripping stories.